Hi everyone, I'm Margarita Zapata, your host, and I created this space to talk with different experts about investing in real estate in the US and getting loans. Here we will guide you and we will help you answer many questions that you may have. And thank you for joining us. Today, I'm super excited to introduce you to my first guest. She's a person that I admire a lot, not only in the professional level, but also in the personal level. She is not only my sister-in-law, but she's also my friend, and she is an amazing professional. She's a psychologist. She specializes in positive psychology and also in intelligence emotional training. Welcome, Dani.
Hi, Margaret. It's an absolute honor to be here to share with you my expertise, but mostly to learn from you and aspire about some better ways of living for myself as well.
Dani, thank you so much for joining us. I think it's very important to talk about emotions because I see all the time when my clients come to me that they are full of emotions. I know that purchasing their first house or investing in real estate is one of the biggest decisions in their life. So how can they manage their emotions to make the right decision?
Okay, so according to positive psychology, and perhaps you've not heard about it before, so just a bit of context. Positive psychology is the science behind understanding what makes us feel emotionally healthy, what makes us feel successful, not successful, but satisfied with the life that we actually have. And I'm guessing that when your clients come in, they're or aspiring for that life already, or they're wanting to begin that life in the short term, and with the desire and the emotion of wanting to commit for a longer term deal. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's so, for me, it's very important to acknowledge the different states that could be in. You could be making that choice because you got into the economical status that you can, or you could be wanting to be there without the cash flow at the moment and then understanding where's the path. So it is very relevant that on that perspective, to be very aware on what is the emotion driving the decision, and every emotion has certain information that will allow you as well to connect with that client from empathy and compassion.
I love that, Dani. I love that because I see my clients that they want to be understood. They want to be heard. You know, like they come to me and they want to connect with me. So sometimes they are full of stress and I want to give them tips.
Okay, so let's speak about stress. Fortunately, there's two types of stress, and you can work that with your clients as well. There is stress, which is the one that we regularly know, where we feel a bit of bigger heart rate, when we can't really sleep very well. We feel irritated, a little bit of brain noise, I say. Brain noise meaning lots of thoughts that we can't really grasp on. And then we have eustress. Eustress is that point in time where my motivation, but as well my optimism of me going and being able to achieve what I want to achieve is there for me to give me energy. Is not there for me to drag me down, right? So when we're speaking about lifestyle, when we're speaking about imagining ourselves in a place where we feel like home, where we feel like we can expand as well, we can dream, we can have those conversations with the clients about what's driving their stress and how can we then speak to them so we can turn that stress in eustress. Into that motivation that will give them the energy to be at peace with the doubts and the process of making this long-term commitment.
I love that. Dani, also, some clients come to me and they think it's so hard to get that luxury home or my dream home, and they focus on not, okay, this is possible, and sometimes, and most of the time it's possible for them, but I don't know why they had this negative thought of like, this is super hard. And I see with my clients, the more they think that this is hard, the harder it is for them.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I see some clients that they're very positive and they think they can afford it and that they can make it happen. And it just becomes easier for them. So is there an explanation for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think your role there is absolutely important because the mindset comes alongside information, right? So when mindset is the answer for movement, in my perspective. And there's this very nice framework that I love working with, and I work with that with my clients as well in corporate training, and is PERMA plus 4. This framework was created by Donaldson, which is a researcher of positive psychology. I think it was published around 2018. And it speaks about the mix-up of the baselines of positive psychology, which is mindset building, with positive emotions, engagement, achievement, meaning of what we're doing, and emotions. With those 4, we can move forward, or we can feel ourselves in a satisfied life, in such a healthy emotional state, that we can make choices, better choices, right? But then if you're there, but you don't have the plus 4, which is the mindset, you may get stuck in a certain mindset, redundancy there, but you may get stuck, right? So the reason behind that is lack of information in this specific case scenario, because there's so much communication out there without like a criteria for you to read, that if you Google worst case scenarios, you'll find them. If you Google great case scenarios, you'll find them. So that's why people like you are very relevant. So you can
just said
teach others.
something that, sorry to interrupt you, but knowledge is everything. I think knowledge is power. Like, the more the people know, the easier it gets for them.
Yeah.
I think knowledge is very powerful.
And it just made me think about something there, which is the power of, in these type of decisions, and when we have so many people not believing in themselves enough to create that reality for them, of knowledge plus hope.
I love that.
And that's also why I really like the name of your brand, because it's speaking about a bit of hope. It's speaking about luck. It's speaking about being able to believe that this is a future I can build, and I can learn from you what are the steps, what's needed for that, so then I can plan for it. And that's emotional training. That's me changing the conversation of, I dream of this, I see this apartment, I think, oh, what a life I could have in here, how I would see my children, how I would, I don't know, whatever I want to do in it. With the information on, okay, let's backwards engineer this process from the standpoint of hope that I will be able to get there. And what do I need? What's the information I don't have that makes me feel it's harder than it actually can be?
Danny, thank you so much. Lastly, sometimes when I have my clients and they have this very negative thought and they want to change it, they tell me, but what can I do? Like, give me like, some people and some clients, they know, like, okay, you need to stay positive, but sometimes I get this, but give me examples. Like, should I don't know, like, write every day, like, have like a journal, like, what if you have, like, I don't know, like 3 examples or 3 tips that you will say, start with this and you will see the result?
Absolutely. And I love the question. To reframe emotions, 3 very helpful things for me is, 1, paraphrasing. So being very aware of which are the emotions that speak to me. And I usually speak from this about emotions from the light and the shadow, not because they're good or wrong, but because of what they drive into us and the energy they drive into us. So being aware of, and emotional vocabulary here is beautiful, of, if I usually, in my personal case, for example, I've got a lot the frustration as one of my shadow emotions. So I know that for me, frustration is a volume that I may get up when I'm not thinking straight. If that's my personal case, there's people that speak more of anger, of sadness, of, I don't know, could be jealousy, either. But then I also know, and there's where paraphrase coming from, a little bit of self-awareness, and here's emotional intelligence in a grasp, and is I also know that I move along strongly when I move from love. Love speaks to me. There's people that pleasure, joy speaks to them, and that helps them paraphrase what the volume of their shadow emotion is speaking about, to then rewrite it. And if you can't actually rewrite it in a journal, it helps because it's connecting more neurons in our brains, more connections, into what the light emotion is speaking about. So for example, I'm thinking from frustration, my business is not going alongside how I'm imagining it, therefore I may not be able to purchase this right now. Saying an example. From love, I can also think, okay, how much information should, if I love this life, how would I want to reframe my business so then I can build that life? So solutions starts to come, creativity starts to come. Writing it down in journaling is absolutely fantastic, and not typing, but writing down, hand paper, old style.
Love it.
Because it's connecting our senses. It's giving more ways for our brain to touch. So the more we connect our senses in an emotional memory, the longer it lasts. Right? So when we're writing hand paper for paraphrasing, we're telling the brain, I'm reading this with my eyes, but what I'll do now is move with touch how I want it now, read how I want it now, and if I say it out loud, it will stick longer in my emotional memory. That's a way of kind of reframing. Meditation for me is key, because meditation is our ways of reconnecting again. And when you meditate long term, you actually expand your gray matter in your brain, which means you have better memory. So if you enhance that memory with the visualizations of the life that you love and the mindset you want to reframe in yourself, the probability of getting there is higher. And you'll remember that when making decisions. You'll remember that mindset when making choices. You're programming it a bit. And emotional intelligence is all about that, because it's about self-awareness, about self-control, about intrinsic motivations, about my relationships, and about empathy and compassion. Meaning empathy and compassion on, if it's for myself, if I'm standing in the place I'm standing now, what would I like to do? What action would I like to take differently so I can have a different solution or result? So those three, reframing, paraphrasing, meditating as a habit, and being aware of the pillars of emotional intelligence for which questions I'm asking myself, and find those answers from the mindset that I want to reframe. I think if doing that at first feels a little robotic, but with time, it flows.
I love it. I love it. And I said loudly, but I also have another one. What is luxury living for you? Not luxury living, luxury living.
Ooh, what a question. Actually, I'm a very interesting person for that, because previously, and previous to my experience in London specifically, I used to think I could be one of the people that I would never get there. And that because my purpose is positive psychology, more compassionate world, soft skills, as some people call them, and some people think that may not make the money to do that. I used to think that I would be happy with my purpose in whatever material way it gives, right? But after working in myself so much on courage, on self-love and self-confidence, for me, luxury living is just the definition, the personal definition, or of where do you want to be every day, that allows you to visualize how much you can materialize and expand in. And that's personal and how it looks like for everyone, yes. but I want to sleep in a home where I wake up and I'm like, I can't keep making the means for my purpose in a healthy way, in a way I love, to be in a place that makes me feel still aspirational about myself. Did that make sense?
Yes, completely.
So I'm still getting there. I don't know a lot about that, but it's how I would like to define it nowadays and look forward to it as well.
Dani, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I know this is so special for me, like to have you as my first guest. You know how much I love you and how much I admire you. And I know this will help a lot of people. Like Dani has helped a lot of people, like in many ways. And I know you have helped them achieve their goals, and that's very important. And I'm happy that you're here with us. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.